and answers at that time. That's going to be from 2:45 to 3:15 p.m. The student athletes who don't join us down here, so everyone other than Phil, Eric, and Colin, will be available in the Villanova locker room at that time. Villanova student athletes Phil, Eric, and Colin will join us here in the main interview room from 2:45 to 3 p.m. At 3 p.m. until 3:15 p.m., head coach Jay Wright will join us here in the main interview room, and the student athletes will head back to the locker room and be with their teammates for more questions and answers. We have an update to the satellite information for this afternoon session. Galaxy 17, 14K slot A. The downlink is 11966.5 vertical. So that looks like it's the same as it was this morning. If you need that information, please speak with some of the gentlemen and ladies from Hammond Communications. They'll help you out with that. This afternoon, Villanova student athletes and head coach Jay Wright from 2:45 to 3:15. We'll have Purdue and head coach Matt Painter from 3:30 to 4 o'clock. From 4:15 to 4:45, we'll have St. Mary's and Randy Bennett. And then Old Dominion wraps things up for us from 5 to 5:30. Again, that's student athletes for 15 minutes. The student athletes not joining us here are available in the locker room, and the head coach for the final 15 minutes of each of those half-hour sessions. Just a reminder, while joining us in the main interview room, please silence your cell phone. I'm going to take a look at mine right now. Make sure it's at least on vibrate. Also a reminder, no video cameras can be used in this area at any time. No shooting of video. That includes professional news gathering, ENG cameras. That includes mini cams. And that also includes any social media video that you can shoot with your cell phone. No video in this room. You can take social media video or video with your mobile phone in the hallways, at the open practices, and during the locker room availabilities, but no video in this room at any time, and we appreciate your help with that. We'll have Villanova up next in just a moment. Sounds like the Villanova student athletes have arrived. Hey, can I get you a cup for that? Before you come up. That's good, guys. Come back down. All right, cool. Go back up. Cup man down the bottom of the stairs for some stuff. Sorry. All right, good afternoon once again. We're joined now by Villanova student-athletes Phil Booth, Eric Pascal, and Colin Gillespie. If you have a question for any of the Villanova student-athletes, please raise your hand. We're going to send the microphone attendant in your direction. Please remember your name and media outlet before your question, and let's start things off right in the middle with Joe.
Joe Giuliano, Philadelphia Inquirer. For Phil and Eric, how do you feel your young players handled the pressure of the Big East tournament, and how do you feel that's going to help them coming into this week?
Phil first, please, then Eric.
I feel like they've done a great job of all season handling it. They came in, made big impacts all season, especially in the Big East tournament. They've won a lot of games for us. They've done a lot of great things, so it was no surprise to us that they played so well.
I definitely feel like they did a great job. I mean, especially with 3 tough-it-out games. I mean, being all very close games. I mean, I feel like the young guys are doing a great job and continuing to get better in practice. Just learning how to play Villanova basketball every second.
Toward the center, Mike.
Mike Abelson, New Hampshire Union leader. Phil, then Eric. What added responsibility and expectations did you put on yourself as veterans who have been through this multiple times here for Villanova this season?
Bill first.
I'm just trying to be a more vocal leader, make sure we're always on the same page as a team, talking, communicating. With so many new guys, it's a lot more they need to learn and teach, and you got to make sure we're on the same page, we're on the court. So just making sure when we're out there as a group of 5, whoever that 5 is always on the same page and locked in.
Eric, same question.
Also, just leading by example. I mean, leading by example as a leader stands out a lot, and I definitely feel like me and Phil have to do that. I mean, every day. I mean, with practice and games and every little way we can, even off the court.
Left to the aisle, center.
Terry Tui, Delaware County Times, for Phil and Eric. Getting back to the young guys, did you give them any specific pieces of advice to how to handle this next step into the NCAA tournament? Phil
first, then Eric.
Just try to tell them to try to stay focused and stay locked in. When you get to the state tournament, there's a lot of distractions going on, a lot of different things that can be getting in your head. But if you focus on the opponent in front of you and just take it one game at a time and lock in on that, that's the best you can really do.
Eric.
I'll probably say the same thing. Just one game at a time. Don't look too far ahead, but also just know stay 94 by 50 feet. I mean, just worry about what's happening on the court and worry about your brothers and your coaches.
Right side of the aisle, Ken.
Ken Davis with the Associated Press. Phil and Eric, for both of you again, you've experienced just about everything you can in the NCAA tournament, going to 2 Final Fours and different settings and all that through. Does this feel kind of weird for you to be back to the starting point in Hartford, Connecticut as a 6th seed? And I mean, the last time you were on an NCAA floor, you're hoisting the trophy up, the confetti's coming down, and there's 70,000 people in the building. Is this different feeling starting over again?
Phil?
Everything's different about this season. It's a totally different team. So looking at last year, this team's totally different. So this journey for this team has been different this whole year. So every place we've been to, or us being in Connecticut, whatever seed, wouldn't matter because, if we were a 4 or 2 or 1, it still felt different because it's just a completely different team, a completely different approach we have.
Eric?
I'll say the same thing. I mean, just a completely different team, and we got a lot of young guys, and it's their first time. So, I mean, just going out there and competing is what we're trying to do.
Go back to the middle of the room with Mike. If this question is not for Colin, the next one.
Oh, no, it is for Colin.
Okay.
It's very specifically, exclusively for Colin Gillespie.
Colin, are you ready?
Eric and Phil can leave if they want for a minute.
They cannot leave. Colin, ready?
Colin, going from a reserve player to a starter and more major contributor can be a huge jump for some players. How have you been able to navigate that this season to become such an effective contributor here coming into the tournament?
Just with the help of these guys. I mean, last year learned a lot from these 2 and also the 4 guys that left. They taught me a lot how to handle starting and trying to help these guys, even teach the younger guys, including myself. Just learning every day, trying to get better every day, even in practice, creating habits. So just trying to become the best team that we can possibly be.
All right, we got the ball to Colin. Next up on the right of the aisle, Joe.
One more pass to Colin. Hey, Colin, from last year's NCAA to this for your experiences in last year's NCAAs, what will you take from that to help you this week deal with, just the pressure and the expectations and all?
I mean, there's a lot of distractions that comes with it. So I think last year it really helped going as far as we did, getting a feel for everything. And now just coming in this year, knowing what it's like, and just take it one game at a time, like they said, focusing on our opponent and worrying about them.
Back to the center, Mike.
Is this on? Oh, for all three of you, you guys have been down this road plenty of times before, Phil and Eric especially. What are some things you guys do during this week, during the downtime, to kind of refocus yourself, kind of take your mind off of things, and just kind of recharge? Like, what are some things you guys do in weeks like this?
Phil, then Eric, then Colin.
I mean, we're always watching film of the next game, the team we're playing, so I guess maybe take a nap. I don't know. That may be the only thing I can think of, but we're always trying to focus on the next team, watching film, always trying to think about how we can be better as a team, and watch film from our older games, trying to get better as a team as well. So it's kind of always focusing on next opponent.
I feel like we do the same thing we do throughout the years since the first game to now. I mean, we just watch film, rest up, hydrate, and that's pretty much our day every day.
Colin.
Like those two said, they do a great job. Our coaching staff does a great job making sure we're rested and we're hydrating. Whatever we need, they're always making sure everything's available for us.
Nah, not allowed to do that on the road.
Not on the road.
Back to the center, Joe. We're using that left-hand mic still.
For any of the three, St. Mary's has two very impressive players, Hunter and Ford. Wondered what you saw from them on film, and also, are you guys prepared to deal with the slower tempo that St. Mary's seems to use?
Eric, then Colin.
Yeah, those two are very great. I mean, we watch film on them already, and we know they're very dynamic players, get their team going. And as far as pace, I mean, we just go out there and play. I mean, we make the adjustments as we go. But, I mean, we know – but they can also push the ball. So, I mean, they're a very good team, very well-balanced, and it's going to be a battle.
Colin.
Yeah, those two are very great players. The rest they're a very balanced team overall. Whether it's inside the post or outside, they do a great job. They're very well coached. So we just have to do what we do and do what we've been doing all year.
Back to the center, Ken.
You guys were talking about how this is a different team, a different year, and it just all kind of feels different from the first game. I think it seemed like Coach Wright kind of struggled with that a bit himself at the beginning of the season. What did you notice, whoever wants to talk about this, about the adjustments he had to make back to a younger team, and how did the rest of the season kind of fall in place?
Eric, you want this one or
Yeah,
Phil?
I'll take it. I feel like me and Phil actually had to kind of be assistant coaches as well. I mean, and Colin. I mean, we just all had to teach the younger guys what it's all about, because they never really been in this position or played Villanova basketball, because Villanova basketball is what we pride ourselves on. So I feel like just me, Phil, and Colin taking big steps and being with the coaches and trying to teach them what to do when playing for Villanova. No, we sensed that ourselves. I mean, it was kind of both of us, but we definitely sensed it ourselves because we were the oldest. I mean, Colin got a lot of playing time last year. Me and Phil have been here for the longest. So, I mean, just we had to take on that role ourselves and embrace it.
We do have time for one more question if there is one. Okay, no more questions. Phil, Eric, and Colin, we want to thank you guys for coming down to the main interview room. You guys are going to head back to the locker room right now, rejoin your teammates for another 15 minutes, and we'll have Coach Wright as soon as the dais is cleared. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We're joined now by Villanova head coach Jay Wright. We'll ask Coach Wright to give us a couple thoughts, and then we'll get into some questions. Coach.
Good afternoon, everybody. Great to be here in Hartford. Yeah. Great Big East, old Big East town, man. Brings me, I was shuddering walking into this building. We've had some battles in here. But we're psyched about being here and know that we have a great challenge here with St. Mary's. We just, watching film, it's just so eerily similar to the 2010 team they had with Villanova and Sandman. They got great guard and forward, great bigs and Hunter, and supporting cast on this team might even be better. Really good team. Randy Bennett is an amazing coach. It's one of those teams that you like to. I love to watch them play during the season because I love their style. I love how disciplined they are, how intelligent, skilled they are, and you love watching them until you have to play them, and then it's not so fun watching the film. It's that kind of team, that kind of game. So we're ready, though. We're ready to go.
If you have a question for Coach, please raise your hand. Coach, should we start with? I see Hoops is in the house.
Hoops is in the house, man. Let's start it. Let's get the NCAA tournament started.
Hoops, we got a microphone for you and everything.
Thanks, Mark. I appreciate that. The one thing that they seem to do defensively is they take away threes. They're only giving up 5 a game, and 31%. What kind of difficulty does that create for your kids?
It's really amazing how they do it. I don't think anybody in the country does it like them. They have the ability to keep you in front of them, keep enough space to keep you in front of them, take away threes, and they protect the rim. It's really it's a great scheme. I don't think anybody that we've seen does it like they do. And we like to shoot threes, so it's going to be a really tough challenge for us, because they don't do it like anyone else does it. Most people get out on you and they extend and they deny. They use their length and they space you, and yet if you try to get to the rim, they keep their bigs in front of the rim and they protect the rim. It's why they're one of the best defensive teams in the country. They get a lot of credit for their offense, but defensively they're really good.
Just to the right of the aisle, Joe.
Joe Giuliano, Philadelphia Inquirer. Jay, how did you feel the young guys handled the pressure of the Big East tournament, and how do you feel that's going to help them coming into a week where a lot of them aren't used to the NCAA hoopla?
Yeah, Joe. I thought getting, we count Joe Cremo as one of the new guys, and getting Joe Cremo, Cole Swider in those games, I thought Sadiq Bey was really good, and Colin Gillespie and Demir Cosby-Roundtree and Jermaine, they really haven't been big players in those games. And I thought as the tournament went on, we got better. I thought in the Seton Hall game, everybody looked really comfortable. And I really think that environment and that one and done feeling can help them here in the NCAA tournament. I do think all of this, is distracting for a player in a good way. They love it. The practice you have in front of a crowd. That's the one piece you can't simulate in the Big East tournament. And so how they handle all that is going to be interesting. But I definitely feel like the Big East tournament helped us.
Back to the center, Ken.
Ken Davis, AP Hartford. Welcome back, Jay.
Thanks, Ken.
Your guys were talking about how this has been such a different kind of year, and I know it started out with you kind of pulling your hair out a little bit at the beginning of the season. But from an NCAA standpoint, you've had all kinds of different experiences, and being the number 1 seed, now you're a 6 seed, you're back to the smaller building. The last time you were on the floor, it was 70,000 people, and the confetti was coming down and you were holding the trophy. Talk about does this feel different this week?
It does. It's different. We've been a 1 or 2 seed for a while. You're at a different kind of hotel. We're a 6 seed. The hotel's nice, but it's just, it's just different, and 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 you could just tell the way people talk about you. It's different. I don't think we'd be honest if we didn't admit to that, But it's not bad, It's could tell we always have a great send off at Villanova. There's kind of like different expectations, but none of that. It's all there, and we recognize it. But when we were a 1 or 2 seed and we did have greater expectations, we tried not to let that affect us either. So we're not affected by maybe lesser expectations or lesser attention. We really work on that. We really do. The real beauty of this tournament is the game you get to play, and that's where you got to put your concentration. That's the real value. If you get caught up in anything else, you miss the real joy in the game and being prepared for the game. So we definitely recognize it, but I think we're going to take the same approach.
You rely on Phil and Eric a lot
Yeah.
the new guys to get the feel for it?
Definitely. And we've relied on them all year for every situation, right? I do think the good thing about the sophomores, even though they didn't play a lot, seeing all this and going through all this, they've seen it. I think that helps. But Phil and Eric, we say to, just when we leave the locker room here, I'll say to them, make sure the guys, are straight. They know what we're doing here. We rely on them for everything.
Left to the aisle, Terry.
Terry Tui, Delco Times. Hey, Jay. Yesterday was kind of a dark day for Big Five basketball. How did that affect you? What, I'm sure that, you get that news about Phil, and of course Dumpf gets knocked out. Now, what did that do to you yesterday?
Yeah, I was thinking about that last night, Terry. I was in my hotel room by myself watching Dumpf's last game, and there was they had a camera shot of him walking into the locker room. I don't know if you saw that. It was emotional, and I was doing a radio show. I was actually doing Coach K's radio show yesterday. I was on hold, and the producer said, Mike wants to know if it's okay if he asks you about Phil. And I was like, what? He's like, I just came across, they parted ways. And I got emotional, It's Philadelphia Big Five basketball is a brotherhood. You're like brothers, right? You want to kill each other, just like brothers do if they're playing in the backyard, but you do everything together. We hang out together at the Final Four. We hang out at the Jersey Shore. We do coaches versus cancer. So it's a sad day. It's the one thing in life that that is a definite is change. It's probably it's gonna happen to all of us. Just the day it happens is really sad day. I didn't get that far with it yet, Terry. I didn't think of that. I still count on those guys. I think Phil, and as long as I'm around, I'll be like the little brother. I think Phil and Fran will always be the deans in terms of with me, and I have a feeling whatever they do next, they're still going to be big in Philadelphia. They're both institutions in Philadelphia. I came up under them, learned a lot from them. And I'll be the little brother to them.
All the way over to the left side.
Hey, Coach, this is Adam Bass with the Journal-Inquirer. You mentioned when you came up to the podium about the Big East. How cool is it that you guys, Marquette, both Big East teams, Leonard Hamilton, a coach with Big East experience, are all here in an old Big East building?
It is very cool. I was walking. The team went ahead of me. I stopped to see somebody from UConn that I hadn't seen in a while. And I was walking by myself. And I was thinking about, man, there was some battles in here, man, with Coach Calhoun and Kevin Ollie, and I was really reminiscing. As I walk by, I look in to the Westwood One studios. I see Donnie Marshall sitting there. I was like, oh my God, another guy, another UConn guy. But I've been reunited with a lot of UConn people, and much like the Big Five, the Big East is a brotherhood, and UConn was a huge part of it, and still a huge part of the history. So when you come back here, that's what you think about. You think about Big East. Anybody that was ever a part of that, as dominant as they were back then under Coach Calhoun, when you come here, that's what you think about. I do. And I know anybody that had any connection to the Big East still thinks of that. It's not like I said, change is change. It's part of life, and it's different now. But you're never going to take away what they meant to the Big East.
Staying on the left toward the front.
Frankie Graziano, Connecticut Public Radio. Coach, you spoke earlier about being in this arena, and Gino Auriemma the other day was lamenting how bad the building was in terms of being championship level for his team. What do you think about the building? I know you had all those battles here.
I don't really care about buildings except when you're on the court, what it looks like on the court. I could tell you things about some of the buildings we played in for national championship games that there were some things wrong. But when you went out on that court, it looked like heaven, and that when this place is packed, I haven't played in here as a neutral site, but I've played in here with the crazy Husky fans. When this place is packed, it's not heaven, but it is an awesome place to play basketball. This place rocks, and if I remember correctly, I haven't been out there yet, but it's like all one level, right? There's no tiers, and you see, like everybody's on top of you, and it gets loud. It's a pretty cool place to play.
Locker room, anything like that. Can it use any upgrades in your estimation?
Yeah, everybody can use upgrades. Hey, we just built a new building, and we're fixing some things up in the office. Yeah, everybody can use upgrades.
To the center of the room, we're going to use the right-hand microphone, though. Mike.
Mike Abelson, New Hampshire Union leader. Jay, you've been down this road before. You've sat on the stage before. You've dealt with us plenty of times. How much fun are weeks like this still for you, even after having gone through this so much?
It's still fun. It's still exciting. Just walking up the steps here and realize, like, all right, you're on the podium again, like that. You kind of forget about what it's like in the off season. Then when you get here, it's a thrill, and you're a part of something that's like that's a national treasure. This tournament, the whole country's watching it, and we try to, every year when we do our Selection Sunday show at Villanova, we have a big crowd, and I say to them every year, don't ever take this for granted. It's people. I know a lot of players, a lot of coaches, and I was one of those guys as a player. I never played in it, and as we started our coaching career, I never coached in it. First time I ever did was an assistant at Villanova, and it was a thrill, and it's still the same thrill. It really is. There's nothing like it in sports, the NCAA tournament.
We'll go back to hoops, maybe to close this out.
Yeah, Jay, what do you think about legalized sports gambling in the NCAA tournament?
You know what, hoops? I don't know yet. I don't know if I have if I have an opinion. I haven't thought this through enough. When you're responsible for young 18 and 22-year-olds, we watched a video. The NCAA has you watch a video this morning. It's got organized crime members on there. It scares you a little bit. The NCAA does a good job with the video because it's a little bit of a scared straight video. So when you're responsible for young people, it concerns me because I'm mostly concerned about them, right? And then there's so much more to it, like how much more attention it brings to the tournament. There's probably a lot of positives to it, and maybe it cleans it up a little bit. I don't know. So I haven't thought it through enough. But in the any type of gambling with college sports, when you're a coach, you got to think about how it affects your players. So you're always concerned.
We'll do one final one, Coach, on the right. Mark.
Mark Tracy, New York Times. Hey, Coach. You've now taken a team that won the Big East tournament, also to the national championship, and a team that lost the Big East tournament to the national championship. So clearly there's no one way to do it, but I'm wondering, reflecting on it, how the two experiences compare, if there's any notable differences.
That's a good question. Each group's different. That the year 16, I think 16 we lost to Seton Hall, right? And then in the final, that loss really helped us a lot. I tell Kevin Willard all the time, like I say, I owe you, because the game plan they had really opened us up to what teams could do to us, and then we prepared for that throughout the tournament. And some teams did it, and we were prepared. And then 18, we won it. It was an overtime game against Providence, which we won the game, but Providence did some things to us too. Like, we definitely could have lost that game. Mikal Bridges hit some ridiculous shots. It wasn't like great execution or anything on our part. We were in trouble. Both those times, we learned a lot from those games. This past game, we weren't good enough to be surprised. We're surprised every time we come out. We don't know what the hell is going to happen this year. So it's just it's totally different in that we're still learning about ourselves every day in practice and trying to get better every day. We're really a work in progress still this year.
We want to thank Coach Wright for joining us here in the main interview room. Coach, enjoy practice.
Thanks, guys.
Good luck tomorrow. We'll see you back here after.
See you guys.
The Villanova locker room should be just about closed by now, and we'll be back in here with student athletes from Purdue at 3:30. Purdue's going to be open from 3:30 to 4 p.m. Purdue, yeah. We'll have Purdue student athletes here. The rest of the student athletes will be in the locker room. No, he was talking about Providence, but it was a couple years ago. It was when they won the Big East. No, it was last year because they won the Big East and they won the Final Four. That was what the question was about. I'll make an announcement. Everybody will come around and watch. You're better like this. Good afternoon once again. We're joined by Purdue student athletes Ryan Klein and Carson Edwards. They're down here right now in the main interview room. Their teammates are available in the Purdue locker room for the next 30 minutes. Ryan and Carson are going to hang out with us in the main interview room for about 15 minutes. Then they're going to head back and join their teammates for more questions and answers in the locker room. And we'll be joined by head coach Matt Painter in about 15 minutes right down here in the main interview room. But once again, as mentioned, Ryan and Carson are joining us for the next 15 minutes or so, and they're ready to take your questions. If you have a question for Ryan or Carson, please raise your hand. We'll send our microphone attendant in your direction. Please remember your name and media outlet before you ask your question. Looking for the first question for the Purdue student athletes. Let's go toward the back on the left. Greg. Flip-flopping.
Greg Mengelt, CNHI. So what have you seen since the draw? What have you seen from Old Dominion that would concern you?
Let's start with Ryan and then go to Carson.
We obviously have three really good guards. They're 1 and 2, complement each other very well. But obviously from a guard defensive standpoint, we're going to have to do a good job tomorrow night.
Carson.
Yeah, just kind of following what he said. They have some guards that can do a lot, very versatile with scoring the ball, whether that's putting it on the floor, catch and shoot, and just kind of getting into the paint. So just being able to contain the dribble and kind of make it hard for them to contest their shots is what's mostly important for us.
Same area of the room, different Greg.
Yeah. For both of you, so Ryan, you first. Can you? I'm sorry, Greg Doyle, Indy Star. Can you talk about? Do you know who you'll be defending? Can you say out loud who you'll be defending?
I don't know if we can say that for sure, but what'd you say? No, I don't think so. Sorry.
Okay. Do you want to make it just a general comment on what kind of defense you guys will need to play to be successful tomorrow?
Yeah, I mean, we're obviously gonna have to keep them out of the paint, like Carson said. They like to get in the paint and feed their big guys down low. So as long as we keep them out of the paint and just have them shoot contested shots, I think we're gonna be all right.
And Carson, we were just grilling you in Chicago about your back. Where's it? How do you feel now? What's the progress there?
I'm okay. I mean, just taking it day by day, just trying to get treatment, things like that. I don't want it to be like a big deal or anything. I'm fine. I just want to be able to help my team win.
Continuing with questions for student athletes from Purdue, Ryan and Carson. If you have a question, raise your hand. There's one on the right side. We'll use that right side microphone.
For either of you guys or both of you, Coach Painter talked earlier this week about how after a few down years earlier in the decade, you guys started having success when you started getting Purdue guys into the program. What is a Purdue guy, in your opinion? What defines a Purdue guy?
Ryan first, then Carson.
I just feel like, I think Grady Eifert's a really good example. He's just a blue-collar guy who's really had to earn his way, throughout his career at Purdue. And that came with a lot of hard work and a lot of dedication. I feel like that's kind of what Coach Payne has been recruited. Obviously, with some shooters, has done him pretty well too.
Carson?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of look at it as just kind of going off the people I'm around on the team. There's good guys around me that understand the game well, but then also are good guys off the floor and smart guys with smart guys that know the game well, like I said, and are good dudes off the floor that are understanding. So I feel like that's a Purdue guy, in my opinion, going off the people that I play with and people I'm around.
Continuing with questions for these two Purdue guys. We have them for the next 10 or so minutes. Let's go back to Greg in the middle.
Yeah, coming into to this, you've lost 2 of your last 3 games. Any concern about the way you're playing, and what can you do to turn it in the right direction?
Right.
I mean, there's really no particular concern. I feel like we were in, those 2 losses that we had. There were just some things down the stretch that didn't go our way. I feel like we had some shots, or we had some chances, in those 2 games to win. So there are a couple of things that we needed to clean up, but we just need to get better at the things we're already good at.
Carson, anything to add there?
I mean, I guess I can kind of say what Ryan says, but at the same time, I kind of look at it as like it's a new season in a way, and just kind of just moving on and trying to focus on this game we have at hand tomorrow. But, I mean, we take those mistakes and learn from them, from the games we've lost. I mean, even the last game we won, we still have mistakes. So we learn from every game, but also we kind of move forward and focus on this one game we have tomorrow night.
Continuing with questions for Ryan and Carson, if there are any, just raise your hand. Any further questions for the Purdue student athletes? Oh, we do have another. Craig.
Hey, and I need each of you to answer this because I know No Gel probably spends time on both of you guys despite your different builds. What is it like to get locked on with No Gel in practice, or what is it like to have him locked on to you when he's on defense?
Ryan first, please, then Carson.
I mean, obviously from an offensive standpoint, when he's guarding you, it's very tough. He's just such a big guy for a point guard, and he moves like a point guard, but he's got the body of a forward. So, obviously it's challenging. He's tough to stay in front of. He's quick. He's elusive, and he just knows how to play the game the right way, especially with his skill set.
Carson.
I feel it makes it tough, especially with him being longer than me and a little bigger than me. So I feel like it makes it tough. But then also, he's a strong dude. He can move well. But, I go at him too. But he's a strong dude. He moves well. He's athletic. It's a good build. So, it's tough, and he makes it tough for a lot of people. So makes us better, too. I'm sorry. It makes us better.
Any additional questions for Ryan or Carson? All right, we want to thank Ryan and Carson for joining us here in the main interview room. They're going to head back to the locker room for some more availability with their teammates. And we'll get Coach Painter down here in just a few moments. Good afternoon once again. We're joined by Purdue head coach Matt Painter. Coach Painter and the Boilermakers are available for 15 more minutes. The student athletes are in the locker room until just about 3:45 p.m. And Coach Painter is with us for the next 15 minutes or so. We'll ask Coach to open things up with a few thoughts, and then we'll get to some questions.
Like everybody else, we're obviously really excited to play. I think it's different for each team, your experience, how you kind of finish the season. For us, we're able to finish the season by winning our league, but also getting knocked out in the first round of our tournament by Minnesota in a close game. And you're just, anytime you lose a close game, and no matter what the circumstances are, you're really eager to get back on the court and play. So I know our guys are really looking forward to play, but we know we have a tough opponent in Old Dominion that's well coached, very talented guys, good size, good skill, very determined team that's got in a lot of close games and won a lot of close games. And so we know we're going to have our hands full, but we're really looking forward to playing tomorrow.
And sorry, I need to correct myself. The Purdue locker room is open until about 4 p.m. And the first question, go to the back right. Mike.
Thanks, Mark. Mike Abelson, New Hampshire Union leader. Matt, last year you make the Sweet 16. How is this year's team different from last year's squad, and how can it make a deeper run than last year's team?
Well, last year's team, we started off conference play 12-0, but we didn't win our league. This year we were probably picked 6th or 7th in our league and ended up being a co-champ with Michigan State. And so after losing 4 seniors and then being 6-5 this year at one point, our guys have really improved, and we've really gotten better, but we've had to define some roles, had a lot of guys that came off the bench for us last year that are now starting and doing some great things. We've been very consistent here the past couple months, but I definitely think the experiences for our guys in the past couple years going to back-to-back Sweet 16s, even though those guys didn't play maybe as big as roles outside of Carson Edwards, can help you. Anytime you can get into a lot of NCAA games, tournament games, I think it definitely helps you in your next tournament.
To the center of the room, and please your name and media outlet for the benefit of our TV audience.
Pat Eaton-Robb from the Associated Press. Matt, I know you're concentrating on your own team, but as a college basketball coach, can you address what Jeff Jones has done this year, going through what he's been through with the cancer and the idea of doing that and getting a team to the NCAA tournament?
Yeah. Well, obviously, when something like that happens, it puts everything in perspective. It lets you know that basketball is really not that important. And but obviously, you still doing your job. And so when you're battling and you're going through the daily regime that he has to go through to get healthy, the team and everybody around your team is your support system and helps you. And so obviously, you see through the highlights and what we were able to watch and just the emotion of it. And, I'm happy for him and, happy for, those guys. And so anytime you go through some adversity and then you're able to have some success, it makes it all worthwhile. For me, he recruited me many moons ago when he was an assistant at Virginia. And so obviously I watched him play when he was, at Virginia, and then to be able to get recruited by him. And but he's at every stop he's been, Virginia, American, and Old Dominion. His teams have been, very, very successful. And obviously he's, just a couple of wins away from 500. So you don't get to that, to that point in your career without being a successful coach. And for him, I think it's kind of twofold. He's a great guy and he's a great coach. I think his players would say the same thing.
On the right side, toward the back.
Rebecca Schneider with the Purdue Exponent. When you were recruiting Aaron Wheeler, what differentiated him from someone who could jump out of the gym versus the Purdue guy that you previously alluded to?
Yeah. Well, the thing that jumped out, for Aaron, right away was his skill level. I thought he could make threes. And so that's something that I really tried to put an emphasis on for him. And then as you started to dig, as a person, we thought he really fit at Purdue. He was a good guy. He was a good student. But we thought he could be a really good piece for us. His length, his athleticism, and then his skill level. And we knew from a physical standpoint it might take a little bit of time, for him. He's right there wedged in between a couple spots as a small forward in kind of that face-up four. And so I think in time, as he keeps to improve, and he gets more of an opportunity. There's times that he doesn't get much of an opportunity for us. and I stick with some older guys. But I think as his career goes on and progresses, his improvement will definitely jump up, with more minutes and more opportunity. But he's been a really good fit for us.
Just to the left of the center aisle, Greg.
Greg Mengelt, CNHI Sports Indiana. When you talked to the media on Sunday, you said you didn't know much about Old Dominion. What have you learned since then? Particularly, what do their big men bring to what they do?
Well, I think they're a very tough, determined team. I think they're a very good defensive team. Obviously, Caver and Stith are good scorers. Caver's more of that lead guard that can break you down off the dribble, can make threes, can create his own shot. Stith can knock down threes, but also drive the ball, post the ball. Just a very versatile player. Then when you put those bigs in there to go along with Green, Green's really played well here. I know he only averages about 10 points, but he has that game about every fourth game where he really steps up and gives them that punch. But their size around the rim, whether it's their Robinson, the guy that starts for him, and really their three centers are all, guys that help them with their length and their athleticism. Their ability to block shots. I think that probably jumps out more than anything. I think it's going to be important for us to keep them off the glass. But I think that starts with containing the perimeter players that I talked about. If those guys are beating you off the dribble and making plays and getting to the rim, now you don't have great rebound balance. Now those guys get dump downs, they get dunks, they get offensive rebounds, and now Old Dominion's getting a little bit of everything. And when that happens, to go along with their great defense, that's how they beat teams. And the thing that really jumps out for me as a whole for Old Dominion really is their ability to get in close games and win close games. A lot of times, you're going to split close games. They seem to win 2 out of 3 or 3 out of 4 when those games are close.
On the right side in the back, Mike.
Mike Abelson, New Hampshire Union leader. Matt, a few questions ago, Rebecca asked about Aaron Wheeler. He came out of Brewster Academy, the New England Prep League. What is it about that league that is just a cut above most other high school leagues in the country, and why does it produce so many elite, high-level D1 players?
Well, obviously, it continues to grow just because kids want to be prepared, to play in college, and they're looking for every advantage they can get so they can play immediately in college. Some people look at it as being able to get through college quicker. Some other people look at it as, hey, I want to play immediately in college, so they want to put themselves in the best situation. So to be able to go to that league or, play in that league at a school like a Brewster definitely helps them. They get elite coaching, but it's also elite competition. A lot of times in the summer, you play elite competition in the summer, but the preparation isn't the same, because, not all AAU teams, you're going to be able to put in time because guys are scattered all over in terms of practice. Here, you're going year round. These guys are preparing. These guys are great coaches, but the competition's at that level too. And so anytime you got great competition and great coaching, guys are going to improve and really help themselves.
If you have a question for Coach Painter, please raise your hand. Let's go to the center or the right side.
Dylan Sin from the Fort Wayne Journal-Gazette. Coach, looking at Old Dominion, it seems like on defense especially, they try to kind of pack the lane and force you to shoot outside shots. Is that something that you're trying to tell your team not to settle for outside shots, or what's the game plan there?
Well, I just, try to get, good rhythm shots more than anything. I think to try to have like a general answer going against somebody that has had success like them. Each one of our guys is different. Obviously, if you're talking to Carson Edwards and Ryan Klein, obviously, those guys are going to be different than maybe a couple of other of our perimeter guys. But just trying to get things in rhythm more than anything, no matter who we play, is trying to have a balance. Just not living and dying on your perimeter shooting, all the time. You got to be able to get the basketball to the rim in some capacity, whether those are drives or post-ups or offensive rebounds or getting into transition a little bit more. I think it's important for us to be able to sprinkle our threes in instead of dominating with our threes. Now, if the game kind of evolves and we're making a lot of shots, I think that can change some things. But going into it of a mindset of, doing a little bit more than the other, we really just try to let the game evolve. And then if that's happening, we try to be able to run some things to get the ball at the rim more.
We have time for one or maybe two more questions if there are any for Coach Painter. Coach, looks like no more questions. Thanks for stopping in the main interview room.
All right.
Enjoy your open practice. Good luck tomorrow.
Thanks.
The Purdue locker room should be open for just a minute or two longer, and we'll be right back here in the main interview room at 4:15 with student-athletes from St. Mary's. We'll be joined by student athletes from St. Mary's in just a moment. Then after 15 minutes, the head coach, Randy Bennett, will join us here in the main interview room. An invitation from our media coordinating host, the great Kyle Muncy, for everybody that's involved in TV. There's a backdrop, a step and repeat banner, just on the other side of this partition that you guys are welcome to do stand-ups in front of. And there's the big bracket has also been hung at this point if you're looking for a different place to do stand-ups. Just please keep in mind, not during the live news conferences, but any other time, you're invited to do that. Free of charge, courtesy of Kyle Muncy, the great media host coordinator that we have here in Hartford. If you guys want to give him a round of applause, you're more than welcome to at this point. A smattering. We'll work on that for later on this weekend. Okay, sounds good. St. Mary's student athletes are arriving right now. Hey guys.
Hey, how you doing?
Hey,
Jordan.
welcome.
How we
Jordan.
doing? Good to see you. How you doing?
How you doing, man? The St. Mary's locker room is now open for student-athlete availability, but we're joined right now by Jordan Hunter, Malik Fitz, and Jordan Ford. Here in the main interview room, they're going to be available for the next 15 minutes or so to take your questions. Just a reminder, if you're joining us in the main interview room, please refrain from any video taking of any kind, including ENG cameras, mini cameras, and cell phone or social media video. Photos are allowed as long as there's no flash. And with that, we have Jordan, Malik, and Jordan ready for your questions. If you have a question for the St. Mary's student athletes, please raise your hand, and we'll send one of our microphone attendants to you. Let's start on the left side, right off the aisle.
What's up, guys? Adam Betts with the Journal-Inquirer. It's a question for really all three of you. You guys beat a good Gonzaga team in the WCC finals. What do you need to do to keep up that momentum against the reigning national champions in your first round game?
We're going to go right down the line. So Jordan Hunter, Malik, and then Jordan Ford.
Just got to keep building on what we accomplished towards the end of the season. We grew a lot as a team, especially down the stretch. So we just need to keep getting better, even this late in the season.
To piggyback what he said is just keep our intensity on the defensive end. Lately, we've been doing a pretty good job of defending, and I think these guys, every one of our coaches, staff, our players, have a good mindset of coming to this game defending as well.
Pretty much what Malik said. On the defensive end, we've gotten a lot better, and it always starts right there for us. We're able to beat good teams when we're good on the defensive end, and the offense will take care of itself.
Continuing with questions for the student athletes from St. Mary's. If you have one, raise your hand. In the center of the room. Let's bring him a microphone. Taylor? Oh, you have one already?
Yep.
That's amazing. I didn't even see that. On the right. Go ahead.
Bill Paxton, San Francisco Chronicle. Can you guys talk a little bit about having to play Villanova right off the bat? I mean, national champions. Obviously, in the past, you guys have had, not you were on the team, but you had success against Villanova in the tournament, but just getting them right off the bat.
I mean, there's no bad teams in this tournament, so we were ready for whoever they threw at us, and we're excited to play a great program. 2 out of the last 3 national champs, so we couldn't want it any other way.
Continuing with questions across the aisle, same Mike. Mike
Abelson, New Hampshire Union leader. Malik, you you played prep ball at Brewster. Talked with Coach Smith earlier this week. He speaks quite highly of you. He's very excited to see you this weekend. How did your time at Brewster help prepare you to become, a top scorer for a team like St. Mary's?
I would say, it was college-like, the 20-minute halves. I would say, just the intensity, the guys we were playing against. I played against a lot of really good guys. I just think that it just got me prepared by just, mentally and physically. I would say that when I graduated, before I did my prep year, I would say I wasn't ready for college yet. So that year helped me get, a better experience. It helped me to get stronger and also just to, prepare for moments like this and then just to get ready for the big stage.
Continuing with questions for Jordan, Malik, and Jordan. If you have a question, please raise your hand. 2 more, both in the center. Start on the right.
For all 3 of you guys, you've been very solid defensively, particularly I think 7 of the last 8 games. You really shut teams down. You've really been good at shutting down 3-point shooters. Why has that been? And obviously you're going up against Villanova that likes to shoot the 3 a lot.
Jordan Hunter first, then Malik, then Jordan Ford.
We took a pretty bad L to Gonzaga a few weeks back, and we got in the film room and on the court as well, and it was a real conscientious effort just to lift intensity. And a lot of the defensive end for us is just effort-based, so we just had to switch on and lock in, and we were able to translate that to games down the stretch run.
To go off of what he said, to start of the year, we were pretty well defensively. And like he said, I would say that after the Gonzaga game, they got us pretty well. And then I would say after that, a lot of guys went back into the film room. Practice was heavy defense. A lot of guys locked in. Everyone was locked in. And then the hard work paid off. I would say they paid off at the right time. A lot of guys started defending well. And like you said, we've been holding teams to a really low percentage on the field, on a 3-point percentage, on the 3-point line. Sorry about that. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, our team has a lot of pride, and our team is full of competitors. So we weren't okay with losing by 48 to Gonzaga, and we took it very seriously to get better on the defensive end, and it's really paid off for us.
Mike Abelson, New Hampshire Union leader. I was going to direct this at Jordan Ford. How have you guys been acclimating to the time change?
I got a good nap on the plane, so I'm doing all right. But no, we just try to get to sleep early and try to hydrate ourselves as best we can. And I think we're getting acclimated pretty well.
Continuing with questions for the student athletes from St. Mary's. Let's go to the right side. Ken
Davis, Hartford AP. Can you guys just talk about, do you think the NCAA fans will be watching you in a different way now after you beat Gonzaga in this championship game? And what's it like all the time to sort of maybe be in their shadow? I don't know how you perceive that, but could you kind of address that?
We'll do the same thing. We'll come down the line with Jordan, Malik, and then Jordan.
We're still going to go in with that underdog mentality, and Gonzaga's a great program. We have no shame being in their league with their dominance. So we're coming into this tournament. People think it was a fluke us beating Gonzaga, so we've got to prove that we're capable of doing more than just one great win.
Yeah, like you said, it was a great win for us, but I know me personally and a lot of these guys really aren't satisfied for that win. You know, it was a great win, and then now it's time to, I would say, turn it up a notch. But we can't let everyone, our coaching staff, we don't really what do you call it? Listen to the gas, as they would say. So we know that that's in the past now, but we play tomorrow, so the only thing we can focus on is just tomorrow.
Yeah, I don't think we're living in anybody's shadows. We're just gonna try and go out there and play the best game we can and compete against Villanova and hopefully come out with a win.
Continuing with questions for the student athletes, Mike in the center.
Malik, who has the best facial hair on the team?
Come on now, you're looking at him. I don't know.
Come on, man.
I would say one of them isn't here right now, but probably our big man, Jock Perry, between everyone. He has a nice little facial hair going on, but don't sleep on me. I'm coming up. Don't worry.
Any facial hair responses by any of the Jordans?
He's just being a bit ignorant. It's all right. The lights are on and he's panicking.
Continuing with questions for the student athletes from St. Mary's. Ken?
Can you guys just talk about what it's like to play for Coach Bennett, and another kind of like what I just asked a minute ago about reputation and everything? Do you think he's well known at all nationally? Do you think people give him respect for what he's accomplished?
We'll go right down the line again.
Coach is a fantastic basketball mind, and he expects and demands the best out of us, and he brings the best effort out of us every game. And whether he's nationally recognized or not, I don't think that's his concern. But we're just doing our part over in Little Moraga, making sure we're winning games. And if it's on the big stage, it's on the big stage. We're ready.
Yeah. If he doesn't have the recognition, then I believe that he should. I mean, he's one of the best coaches. He has, as far as I remember, he has one of the top 10 coaches, or he's still one of the coaches with, I believe, 400 wins or something like that. But yeah, he's really big on character, and a lot of our guys on our team are really, I would say, really good about that, and that's what brought us to this moment right here. Everyone stayed together.
Yeah, piggybacking off that, the great thing about Coach Bennett is that he's not worried about what other people think of him. He's worried about what's going on in that locker room and with our guys. And like Jordy said, he demands the best out of us every single night that we step on the floor. And that makes sure that I bring my best effort, which I've gotten better at since I came in as a freshman.
We do have time for one or two more for the student athletes from St. Mary's, if there are any. Any more questions for Jordan, Malik, or Jordan? All right, we want to thank Jordan, Malik, and Jordan for joining us here in the main interview room. They're going to head back to the locker room right now and rejoin the rest of their teammates for about 20 minutes of your questions and answers down there in the locker room. And we'll have head coach Randy Bennett, known throughout the country and across the world, back here in just about 5 minutes in the main interview room. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. No autographs of Coach Bennett once he arrives. Sure. Fragrance or... All right. Looks like Under Armour. He's wearing Baltimore. Ready. Hey, Coach.
How you doing?
Good. How are you doing?
Good.
Good to see you. Congrats. Yeah. Good. We're joined now by St. Mary's head coach Randy Bennett. We're going to ask Coach to give us a couple thoughts in terms of an opening statement, and then we'll take some questions. Coach.
Yeah, we're just excited to be playing in this tournament, coming out here and playing in Hartford and playing against the defending national champion. So I think that's where we're at. We've had a heck of a run to get here, and pumped to be playing in the tournament again.
Coach Bennett will join us until 4:45. The St. Mary's locker room is open for your questions with student athletes until that time as well. We'll take the first question for Coach Bennett here in the main interview room right now. Let's go all the way to the left side. Please remember your name and media outlet before your question.
What's up, Coach? This is Adam Betts with the Journal-Inquirer. I was wondering, what do you need to do? You just came off a big win against Gonzaga in the WCCC finals. What do you need to do to keep that momentum going up against Villanova?
You know, it's for lack of a lot of time, we have to play well. So, and when you go to the NCAA tournament, anybody you come up against is pretty good and pretty confident and been on a run of some sort. So you have to get your team to kind of relax. They're obviously going to be nervous, but you can't be nervous long. You have to perform, and so that's what we've been trying to work on, and that's we've been trying to get used to the court today and go our 40 minutes out there. But we need to play well early in that game.
Continuing with questions for Coach Bennett. Let's go down front.
How you doing, Coach? Bill Paxton for the San Francisco Chronicle. You guys have really made a commitment to defense after that loss to Gonzaga. Can you explain how that came about, and I mean, you guys really clamped down on teams of late?
I honestly can't tell you why it turned then. We were working on it. We knew we were deficient defensively. We had to play. Our numbers needed to be better. And for whatever reason, that game, which we weren't very good defensively in, at Gonzaga, we turned it around after that. Maybe it was maybe we needed to see that. Maybe that woke us up a little bit. I don't know, but we had been working on it for a while, and you're right. Since then, we've put up good defensive numbers. We've totally changed as a defensive team, and we went on the road and won 3 out of 4, and really guarded a couple good teams on the road, and that is the reason we turned it around and finished. I think we won 7 of our last 8, but a lot of those games weren't close. Like we went down to San Diego and we were up 20 at one point, and they're a really good offensive team. So it's a lot of guys made some changes, but that's what happened with our team. That's why we're playing in the NCAA tournament tomorrow.
Toward the center of the room, Joe.
Joe Giuliano, Philadelphia Inquirer. Coach, when Coach Wright saw them pairing, he immediately went back to 2010, and I know it's like a million years ago, but what did that win do for your program, winning such a high-profile game as an underdog like that?
That win was probably the biggest win in St. Mary's program history, and everybody remembers it back in California, and it was it kind of came out of nowhere. We had a special group of guys, and Omar Samhan was our leader and our top scorer, but we had Dova turned out to be a pretty good player, and Mickey McConnell was a pretty good player. But we had a good group. We remember it. It's a historical moment, and yeah, I'm sure he thought about that as well. Unfortunately.
On the right side, Mike.
Mike Abelson, New Hampshire Union leader. Randy, when was the last time your teams played on the East Coast, and how are you handling the time change?
I don't know last time. Probably NCAA tournament. It's the last time we came out to the East Coast, unless you count Western Kentucky. But that is the time zone. But we handle it by getting out here extra day early. I think that's key, and try and get your guys on that. It's a long trip, so you got to get your kids adjusted and get them on the time, get their bodies adjusted a little bit. So other than that, nothing else. So we played pretty good at Western Kentucky. I think we played well on it last time when we came out here and played up in Providence.
Continuing with questions for Coach Bennett, back to the middle. Joe first on the left.
Randy, you have quite a few Australians and New Zealanders on your team in the mass shooting from last Friday. What effect did you think that had on your players as a whole, and especially the two from New Zealand?
You know, I don't want to seem insensitive, but they didn't have a. I don't think they had a. Our kids would be concerned on something like that, and would be worried about our two players from New Zealand, but it wasn't a big topic when it happened. So, for whatever reason, so I think our guys are good on that. I talked to our two New Zealanders, and they were, it's just a sad event, and I don't know. In life, you have to deal with those things and move on. And we try and make sure our players are okay on those situations. I think they are. I can't say, hey, everything's okie dokie, but it was. I think our guys have done a good job with it.
Continuing with questions for Coach Bennett, we have one from Bill, right of the aisle.
Coach, just building on the defensive thing, how much of a challenge is it to stop Villanova tomorrow night, and have you played any teams similar to them this year?
Yeah, we played some teams similar to Villanova as far as what I've seen on film, watching them, and the challenge is they gear their game towards getting threes. They hit over 10 a game, which is probably the highest. That's the highest number of anybody we played this year. But they're a little bit like Gonzaga defensively, how they play, how they switch a lot of ball screens and switch a lot of things. So they're a little bit like them, and then they're a little bit like San Diego as far as how they attack you to get threes. I mean, they're more than threes. They'll take it to the hole, and they have some really good players scoring it inside the paint. But the big part of their deal is they're going to make you help and kick out, and they have some really good shooters, and they can put 5 guys out there that can shoot the three at the same time. They really don't. I guess their backup center is he's a true center, but that's the only guy they have on the team that's a true center. So they always put you in a position where you have to decide where you're going to get help from on their penetration, and from there they'll find that and play off that and get open threes or turn it to a second penetration and get another three. So they just kind of wear you down with that game. Familiar with it. Like we see that a lot out west. Maybe not with the same caliber players that Villanova is playing with.
Let's go to the center of the room. Ken?
Coach Ken Davis from the Associated Press in Hartford. Obviously, this isn't your first NCAA appearance. You've had a lot of 20-win seasons. You've won 400 games. People who are avid college basketball fans know about St. Mary's, but what would you like people to learn about your program as a result of this particular appearance right after beating the #1 team in the country?
I think you kind of said it. Like we've been consistent. I think we pride ourselves on being efficient, and that's in player development, recruiting, the whole deal. But I think we get good players that are high character kids, and they're trying to be part of a program or part of a thing that's bigger than them. I think it's hard to find guys like that nowadays, but we really try, and we try and coach them that way. So I think we've been efficient. We've been really efficient for the last 12 years, and even longer than that. But for the last 12 years, had a really good run. And this year I take a lot of pride in this year's team because we basically started from scratch. We had 2 guys return that played a lot for us last year, and that was Tanner Krebs and Jordan Ford. But neither of those guys were our go-to guys last year. So every guy, and that's what's happened with our team. Every guy's had to make a move and improve and take on a new role. And a guy like Kuzi wasn't even playing for us for 7 games, and we moved him in the lineup, and he's grown into a pretty good player. Midas Toss was a freshman, and early he wasn't playing. Now he's become a good third inside guy for us. So, and then Jordan Hunter came off back surgery. He was out for 4 or 5 months, and for him to step in and continue to improve. I think he first started playing again late September. First started being able to go 5-on-5. For him to make that, have this kind of year, and he's really come on down the stretch. Those are things that they had to happen if we were going to be good. And so for these guys to get, and we're not really I don't think we're a one-shot wonder. Like, we could have got in the tournament if we didn't win the conference tournament. We might have. I'm sure glad we didn't have to go through that again, though. But these guys turned themselves into another good team. So I'm really proud of them to do that. They could have easily gone a lot of different directions. I tell them that they're pretty tough. They're really resilient because I think we were 13-9, 4-3 at one point, and they hung in there. They stayed together. You couldn't get them to go sideways, and we came on down the stretch, fortunately, and had a huge win to get us in this tournament. But that's what I'm most proud of, is all these groups of guys over the years have been pretty consistent, pretty efficient, and really high-character kids.
We have time for one more question for Coach Bennett, if there is one. With no more questions, we want to thank Coach Bennett for coming to the main interview room. The St. Mary's locker room will be closed shortly. And we want to wish Coach the best of luck tomorrow, and we'll see you after the game.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
We'll be joined next at 5 p.m. by student-athletes from the Old Dominion Monarchs, and Coach Jeff Jones will follow those student-athletes' availability time. Thank you. Old Dominion Monarchs wrapping things up here in the main interview room. We'll start out with student athletes Ahmad Caver and BJ Stith. Their teammates are in the Old Dominion locker room right now for availability for the next 30 minutes. We'll be joined in about 15 minutes by the head coach, Jeff Jones. But for the next 15 minutes, Ahmad and BJ are here to take your questions about the NCAA tournament, about their season, and about anything else that you may want to ask them. First question for Ahmad and BJ. Let's go right down the middle.
Pat Eaton-Robb with the Associated Press. Can both of you just talk about the perspective this season has given this team with what your coach has gone through and how you guys have dealt with that, and then how tough it is maybe to come to practice tired when your coach is doing what he's doing every day?
Ahmad, you first, please, and then BJ.
All right. I think our season and the games we played all reflect off him. There were plenty of times we were down and we could have gave up and gave in as a team, but we just kept fighting. And the same thing he's doing, he's keep fighting and coming in with the same energy. So I think just his reflection of his being strong and staying encouraged and stuff encouraged us to stay the same way.
BJ.
Going off what Miles said, I think that our season symbolizes exactly what Coach Jones and what we've been through this whole year. Coach Jones is not the kind of guy that seeks sympathy. He's shows the work every day. He's the most hardworking dude on the staff. He comes every day with the same intensity, no matter what, and he doesn't let us see him down in any way. So we fight every day and every game for him, knowing that he sacrifices for us, so we sacrifice for him.
Continuing with questions for Ahmad and BJ. If you have a question, raise your hand. We'll send the microphone stewards in your direction. Please remember your name and media outlet before asking your question. Any questions for Ahmad and BJ? Here's one on the left side toward the back.
Ed Miller from the Virginian Pilot. Guys, now that you've had a chance to look at Purdue a little bit on tape, what can you say about them stylistically and personnel-wise, and do they resemble anybody you guys have played this year or recent years?
I guess Purdue is a stereotypical Big Ten team. Play extremely physical. They're big, across their front line. They play a lot of the same sets. We've seen a lot of the same sets throughout the year. Of course, they have really good pieces, a really good player in Carson Edwards. But nothing flashy. They don't have anything that we haven't seen before. So playing them will be a challenge, but I think we should be ready.
They have a balanced team, even though Carson Edwards is the one that's scoring majority of the points. But they have a lot of sets, and off them sets they have a lot of counters to it. So we have to lock in and never relax when we're on defense. So, it's something that we've seen, but then again, they have a lot of height as well. So we just got to battle.
Continuing with questions for Ahmad and BJ. If you have a question, please raise your hand. Go up front again.
Just a follow-up on my previous question. Obviously an NCAA tournament game is huge for any basketball player. Do you guys have a different perspective on it, though, than maybe other players with what coach is going through and everything else? Does it mean not less to you guys, but does it put it in perspective a little bit for you guys?
Ahmad first, please, then BJ.
We try to look at it just like a regular tournament game. We know the significance of it, and us being seniors, we want to go out with a bang. So we're going to go to it like any regular tournament game. We're going to give it our all, especially for Coach, because I know he's going to give us his all as he did all year. So we just going to do what we do and then see where the cards may lie.
And just like Ahmad said, we don't talk about it. We don't, make it a point of emphasis. We treat this game just like any other game, or tournament just like any other tournament. Coach Jones doesn't want, all the focus to be on him. He doesn't want us to, approach it any differently because of him. Coach Jones actually shies away from that. He doesn't want any attention. So we just gonna treat it Of course, it's special because it's the tournament, but we're going to treat it just like any other tournament.
Continuing with questions for Ahmad and BJ. If you have a question, please raise your hand. Any further questions for Ahmad or BJ? We want to thank Ahmad and BJ for coming down to the main interview room. They're going to head back to the locker room and rejoin their teammates. They'll be available for questions from the media until 5:30. And Coach Jones will be down here in the main interview room in just a few minutes. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Hey, Coach. How you doing? How you doing? Good to see you. Mark Prado, good to see you. Our final news conference of the day features the head coach of the Old Dominion Monarchs, Jeff Jones. We'll ask Coach Jones to give us a few thoughts to open things up. Then we'll take some questions. Coach.
Like pretty much everybody else, we're thrilled to be in the tournament. Our team has done a great job, I think, all year long. We defend. We play a 40-minute game, but I think the thing that we do best is compete. And I have no idea what's going to happen tomorrow, but I'm pretty sure that our guys are going to come out and compete and certainly try to challenge a very good Purdue basketball team.
We'll take questions now for Coach Jones. If you have a question, please raise your hand. We'll send the microphone attendant in your direction. Please remember to state your name and media outlet before you ask your question. First question for Coach Jones. In the center.
Coach, I know this is about your team, but obviously with the fight that you've been waging against cancer, can you just address how that has changed your perspective on this season and how you think it has changed the perspective for your players in terms of, guys looking at what you do and then coming to work every day and knowing what they have to do?
Well, I'll answer the second part of that first. Hopefully it hasn't changed them in a whole lot. I mean, my intention when I went public in September, I wanted to let them know simply because I didn't want them hearing from anyone else. I didn't want them changing anything. I wanted them to have the same experience that they would have had normally. I wanted them to know that I was going to be there for them, that this wasn't going to change anything as far as how I was going to coach or me being there for them. I wanted them to know that I had their back. So hopefully they haven't had to adjust too much. We didn't talk about it a whole lot, and I don't think they probably noticed a whole lot of difference in me, from this year to the year before. I think anytime you have any health issues, it changes your own perspective. And I think that certainly has happened for me, not just pertaining to basketball, but pertaining to all areas of your life. I've been told, I don't know if this is true or not, that I've mellowed out a little bit. The players might disagree. I don't know. But I think there is, if nothing else, there's probably a greater appreciation as you get older, and then throw in the health stuff. I think a greater appreciation just for normal everyday occurrences, and then when you have an achievement, an accomplishment like this for our basketball team, I think it becomes even more special. I certainly appreciate having the opportunity to be here, to bring ODU to the NCAA tournament. Old Dominion has had a great history from a basketball perspective, and there are expectations in Norfolk and Old Dominion. So I think besides just being happy that we made it and we won the Conference USA tournament, I think there's certainly an element of relief to finally to be able to cross that threshold. And then for me on a personal note, because it at times had been a tough year, I think it made it even sweeter.
Continuing with questions for Coach Jones, we have one all the way on the left side of the room.
This is Adam Betts with the Journal-Enquirer. Coach, I don't know if you know this, but of the 8 teams playing in Hartford this week, Old Dominion is the only one that has played a tournament game here in Hartford. So my question is actually 2 parts. Number 1, what were you doing in March of 1985? And 2, What do you need to do to get past the first round this time? I think Old Dominion lost to SMU that year in the first round.
March of 1985, I was an assistant coach at Virginia. In 1985, I'm thinking that wasn't a real good year for us. So we were either done or maybe getting ready for the NIT. I don't know. What do we need to do? Number one, we need to compete like heck. Purdue is an extremely well-coached basketball team. Matt Painter, in my estimation, may be the #1 most underrated college basketball coach out there right now. Year in, year out, he does an outstanding job, and this year is no different. We know they're going to be very well prepared. We've got to be ready for Carson Edwards, but I'm not sure. We'll try to be there. We'll try to make him work and contest. But sometimes when he gets on a roll, there's not a whole lot that you can do. I think our mentality is trying to make sure that he and all the others have to work for everything that they can get. I think the big key, quite honestly, is can we run our offense and make some shots? That in the Conference USA tournament, we were able to hold our 3 opponents to under 60 points. That's not going to happen tomorrow night. We can play great defense, and we're not holding Purdue to 50 points. So that means we've got to score at a greater rate. That's something that's been difficult for us at times this year. We've struggled. I think it's a mischaracterization that say, when people say they look at the scoring and all that and say we want to play at a slow tempo. We want to run every chance that we get. We just want to make sure that we do a great job of having defensive balance in our defensive transition and get back and try to hold the opposition in the half court. So I think the tempo is important. We're not walking the ball down the court. That doesn't help us at all. But we want to try to be opportunistic from an offensive standpoint and defensively keep doing the things that we've been able to do all year long.
Continuing with questions for Coach Jones. If you have a question, please raise your hand. Back to the middle.
Coach, first of all, what went into your decision to go public with your health issues, and have you thought about not coaching anymore, or is this something that gets your mind off it and something you want to do until you can't anymore, or until you're old, or what's the?
Sometimes I feel pretty old already, so I don't know when that occurs. So initially, I was diagnosed with prostate cancer in 2015. I had radical prostatectomy surgery, followed up by 8 weeks of radiation. I was cancer-free for over a year, and then it came back in the summer of 2017. We monitored it closely, but there was no urgency to start treatment at that point, so the circle of people that knew was very, very small. Basically, it was family and not even all of them. Last summer, the summer of 2018, the cancer began to grow. And so I needed to begin the treatment, and the therapy, the side effects from that therapy were such that there was not going to be a way to keep it private, that it was going to get out. I wanted to control the message. I wanted my players to hear it from me. I wanted friends and family and professional colleagues to hear it from me. So that's basically why I decided to make the announcement. Now, coupled with that, I figured, and my wife was really, really important in this part. I figured if I was going to go through this, kind of given my status as a college basketball, or visibility is probably a better word, as a college basketball coach, that perhaps I could do some good and be in public and bring in awareness to the fight against prostate cancer and trying to prevent, or more importantly, detect early on the onset of prostate cancer. Encouraging men over the age of 50 to get their PSA checked. Because prostate cancer, while it's a common cancer, it's one that you can control if you detect it early. So trying to bring awareness to that was also kind of a secondary, well, not a secondary, a second goal that was important to me. Coaching future, look, coaching is not just something that I do. I mean, that's who I am. So I have every intention of continuing to coach. The idea of not coaching, the idea of retirement, that's not even on the radar at this point. I think I had heard in our community this year there were people saying, "Oh, this is going to be his last year." And I mean, I guess I understand how stuff like that gets started, but there's absolutely no truth to that. And to be honest, I haven't even looked that far ahead. I mean, I'm pretty good at compartmentalizing and focusing on what's immediately in front of me, and I haven't thought past March for months.
We have time for a few more questions for Coach Jones, if there are any. Up front to the left.
Apologies if you've been asked this already, but just how have you had to manage it physically? I mean, what in terms of just going through treatment and just getting through a day, what is that like for you?
It's not like every day is torture. I mean, most days it's fine. I mean, the side effects, are there. The side effects aren't a whole lot of fun, but there have only been a handful of days where it's really kind of really affected me, and I've very fortunate with my wife being just a great friend and supporter and confidant and helping me through those days. But I think especially knowing that I've got a wonderful coaching staff, guys that I've known for years, and they've been great at picking up the slack. If there's been a day where maybe I just I need to stay at home and not come in the morning. And there haven't been many of those, but when they are, those guys have helped me. So I think having a great support network is how you get through that. And then, I'd be really remiss if I didn't mention, my bosses, Wood Seelig and John Broderick, our president, have been explicit in telling me, make sure you take care of yourself, and don't overdo it. And when you've got that kind of support from the people above you, as well as the people that are around you on a daily basis, I won't say it makes it easy, but you can get through it. Everybody has some bad days. I had some of those this year, but we were able to plow on through and obviously be successful.
Any final questions for Coach Jones? Okay, Coach, we want to thank you for coming down to the main interview room. The Old Dominion locker room will be closed shortly, but should be open for just another minute or two if you want to get some last-minute questions in. Coach, good luck tomorrow. We'll see you after the game.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah. You're in charge.